Hello everyone, this is Fred again. Today I'm gonna review a very nice helicopter from Taog, a friend of mine. He's done an incredible work. So Taog, which I've been knowing through the internet and helping him on flight dynamics on many projects, including this one, has been improving a lot and progressively in the details and quality of his helicopter. So I highly recommend this one. uh, Flight dynamics are quite good. I mean, I helped him set up the flight dynamics. So it comes with a number of liveries. I believe there is like 15, 20 of them, and I'm just showing them to you right now here. Then we're gonna take her for a quick flight and test, and I want to show you some more details. And there are a number of options you can also set on the helicopter. So you see military liveries, civilian liveries, and if you go into detail, you get a lot of uh, information about those liveries and which countries they're in. So let's jump into scenery, and we'll have a more detailed look at the flight dynamics and the details of the helicopter itself. So here we are in southern France. I picked up a mountain location, which is typical of the area of operation for this helicopter. And before we take off, we're going to have a quick look of the details and texture that Taog has put into this model. You see, we have a very detailed engine with all the writings uh, in incredible detail on every single part. This is the engine cover, and you have a number of options that you can add to your helicopter, and I'm going to show you that in a second. You can add skis and a lot of, um, how do you say that, optional equipment for your mission. You can even have a Bambi bucket to fire, to use to fight fires. Here I've added a front camera and a lot of things. As you see, all those things are very nicely modeled and can be used in your helicopter for additional missions and realism. You'll appreciate the quality. I picked up this one from Pellissier Helicopter, which is, I believe, an operator in the area. And even as you go in, I'm using the drone camera here. You will see lots of detail here. Well, the pilot is the standard pilot. There is also optional non-standard pilots, but I believe this is something that will be fixed in a new release. You see the interior, you have all the old type of texturing of the helicopter that makes it look older. It's really impressive what the work is done. And you have details even on the back seats. You have safety instruction as you see here in the back seats. And so there is really a lot of love and passion in this helicopter. You can definitely say that. So as I said, you have a number of optional things that you can put in there in the helicopter, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And then we'll go into flying. So you see all these accessories you can control from the very nice pad in the cockpit. So if I jump back to my cockpit view, hold on, I should be in cockpit view in a second because I'm still here in the camera. Put myself in the cockpit view, all right, and close the camera. So you have this, okay, you see this mirror is actually reflecting the sunlight on me. Here you have this very nice pad where you can change the settings for your helicopter. So you can have glare shield, bubble door, which is basically this door I have here. You don't see it because it's transparent. Uh, Mirrors, let me remove the mirror so we don't have the sun glare. Skis, searchlight, which is the one here in the front. Pop, it disappears. Antennas, side basket, which we saw before, up, disappear, bubble door, and glare shield. I like this. There is also a roof cover in case it gets too sunny. You can put this and you get this nice, come on, yeah, here, you see this is a roof cover. It's actually nicer from the outside here. You actually see it here with this small piece uh, of cloth covering you from the sun. Let's go back and remove the roof cover as well, and we just gonna set this back. Now, I'm gonna just take her for a quick flight. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the performance. As I said, I was part of the project for developing the flight model here. Uh, the Lama helicopter is really a very nimble helicopter, very sensible, not the easiest one to pick up. We tried to make it in a way that it's not that hard and not that easy. There is also an easier flight model if you want. It is quite simple. There is instructions in the PDF manual that will tell you how to change the flight model for an easy one. Uh, there is always a big compromise when you do helicopter flight dynamics because naturally helicopters are quite hard to fly, especially if you don't have a proper rig like a joystick. But even if you have a nice joystick, like I am using a Velocity One flight stick, which I recently bought, and I really like it so much. But like the spring is really strong, so I actually opened it up and cut the spring, and now it flies well with helicopters. But yes, so in case you don't have that kind of thing, or you flying with a gamepad, you should always have an easier flight model. I'll do a video further on where I'll explain how to do custom flight models for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So enough talking, and let's go into the technical takeoff and things. So as I said, it's a light helicopter. There is a number of features that interest me from the aerodynamic point of view. Let's just quickly have a look at them. So now, if I look at here in my helicopter, you see the rotor is kind of low. I mean, the whole helicopter is very short vertically, and the rotor is in the back of the cabin and kind of low in respect of the pilot and the center of gravity. This will give the helicopter a certain stability because the sensitivity to the rotor changes. At the same time, there is virtually no vertical stabilizer here. You have some horizontal stabilizers here that will stabilize the flight in forward flight. Vertical stabilizers do that also, but in this case, you have to work on your pedals in order to trim your helicopter properly. What else? It's well, this is not really aerodynamic. It's very light in a way, so we know this will not add a lot of weight, and the weight will be sitting around this area a lot. When you add people, on the other hand, your center of gravity will, tend to go forward. And this is the fuel tank. So the fuel tank is in line with the center of gravity, which makes a lot of sense. All the things I'm mentioning will be relevant when you try to understand how the helicopter behaves. Also, the helicopter, if you look at it from the front, is kind of skinny. And this will explain why it's very sensitive on the roll side, just because it's really a basic, bubble with some attachment in the back and a tail rotor. Very interesting helicopter, very powerful. It can go up to the Mount Everest, very strong climber. You'll see that in a second. Okay, let's go back to the cockpit and make her fly. So since it's a European helicopter, has been done by Sud Aviation, currently now part of Airbus Helicopter. Uh, it will have a rotor rotating clockwise, which means that you'll have to expect to put some right pedal opposite to, let's say, American helicopters when you take off. So I'm slowly taking off. Let me do something else here. Let me put on. Oh, there is this. This is not scratches on my screen. This is actually scratches on the glass. There is, since it's an old helicopter, Taog did a lot of. You see, there is scratches everywhere. It's an old helicopter. I love it. And so go here, and I'm using this input viewer, which will help you see what I'm doing with my input when I take off with the helicopter. It's quite interesting. So here we have on the bottom right my collective, my power, and then well I have my trims here, and this is my joystick, and this is my rudder or pedals. Okay, let's go and see what happens here. Lifted my collective, and I'm gonna do that on purpose. As soon as I lift above a certain level, you see the helicopter start turning to the left. Okay, so now I have to apply some left pedal, so I was kind of wrong. Not right pedal, left pedal, in order to make it stabilize. So I'm applying some left pedal. Now what happens is that the left pedal will push my helicopter sideways as well. So I have to compensate for that. You see, it tends to go to the left. No, so now what I have to do is to also use my cyclic and move it a little bit to the right so it kind of climbs up. Look at the bottom right, you see my cyclic, I moved it from here until here, and let's see what happens now if it gets better. Yeah, it's better, it's getting there. Okay, I'm taking off. Cool. And now I can try, I'm gonna climb to a few feet. There is something I don't really like on the way the ground effect is implemented in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it's due to this advanced flight dynamics with voxel and everything. And I had a chance to also talk with a developer of this flight model, Sebastian, at Flight Sim Expo. I think it's a fantastic flight model. You'll require substantial, let's put it this way, computer power to operate this flight model properly. And this is one of the reasons why it's not that easy to model helicopters. So now I'm hovering. You see, I'm kind of stable here, probably at around, I would say, 30 feet above ground, which is a little high, but that's okay. So as you see, I'm using substantial pedals. If you look at the bottom bar, it's really seats on the right because my pedals have to compensate for this. And I will need to use the pedals all the way along my flights, except that we did some trick with Taog in order to make it not so. So basically, your helicopter will fly straight quite easily. Okay, I'm putting my nose down, and the rule wants the helicopter will start to want to climb up. It already started, but since we were high, you don't realize it. And we're just gonna keep it this way until we reach about 55 to 60 knots. Okay, and then now I'll let it go, and it starts to climb. And okay, now I'm letting my pedals go. You see, and it's not really flying straight; it's flying sideways. Even though, by the way we made the flight model, there is still a little bit of pedals there, but not enough that you realize there is. So that makes it a little easier to fly. I'll do a different video where I'll explain you how to tweak your flight models and quickly reload them. This is what I do. I've been doing flight dynamics for many helicopters. I helped out on all his helicopters, including the Alouette and this one. And I also did the Shrike MD530, which I really like. And I think we did a great job with that one in making it not hard and but not easy as well. So people like it a lot. It's got a lot of positive reviews, even on the Microsoft Store. And so here is you see how easy people say it's a hard helicopter to fly. I think you can work on that. And now I modified my joystick in order to have this very light spring. If you don't, you'll end up chasing a lot your helicopter that will be doing that a lot. This is your joystick, okay? So what you can do in this case is you can use trims. And if you look now in the bottom right, in the LUT, I'm gonna put some trim. So if you look at the small gray boxes, bottom at the let's say the first row right in my input component, you'll see I'm gonna put some trim here. You see it goes to -2. Look bottom right, let's say the third gray line, something like that, -4. And now, so basically I can rest my joystick in a position. So basically now I have a -13 trim, and this is actually me controlling the helicopter, -16. Okay, and so if you have a joystick which has a strong spring, you can use the trims in order to make it fly right. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely hard. So sometimes if you find it hard, it's just your joystick. Because in a real helicopter, you don't have that much strength on your cyclics. So uh, you can feel the cyclic, but not as strong as in a spring joystick. This is why I'm gonna publish a short video on how I cut it. I mean, it's once do it forever, because once you cut the spring in two. You cannot just stick it back. But I'm really happy with my choice. So as you see, the helicopter is really stable. I can even fly from outside, which is really hard in helicopters because you'll end up doing funny things. You see, I'm kind of trying to control it, and then I'm not very good at flying from outside in general. I don't know, for some reason I'm not good, and I've never flown drones and things like that. Okay. But it's really, really a beautiful helicopter, and it's kind of nimble. And okay, let me go back. And what we're gonna do now, to complete the video, what I'm trying to do is gonna test an auto-rotation, which is kind of an advanced maneuver. Well, this helicopter was used by a French guy called Vuichard for a Vuichard maneuver, which is a maneuver to exit from vortex free state. Let's do a Vuichard maneuver and see what happens. Okay, so what happens when you're into a vortex free state, which means that the helicopter is uh, almost hovering, okay, you start descending because maybe you want to go into a mountaintop, and at a certain speed, the helicopter starts eating its own airflow. And this is what is called vortex ring state, because the more you put collective in, the more the helicopter will sink. So it's a very, very dangerous situation. There has been some accident also in helicopter companies I I work with, and I know people there, and they had this, in the United States. I won't mention the name, and so it can be tragic. It can be tragic. So when you are in vortex ring state, I'm going to try and show that to you in a second. So I'm kind of stopping the helicopter here. I'm kind of hovering. It's really hard to say if you're moving or not uh, when you're flying from outside. I could do it from the outside view, but I believe I'm kind of now at zero speed. So I'm going to reduce my collective, okay, and let's say start descending. Usually your safe descent speed would be within 500 feet per minute. Above that, you risk entering vortex state, and you'll see that dipping very quickly. So like this, I'm probably in a vortex state. So Mr. Vuichard said, hey, you know what you do? You do that. Instead of going out from the front, you do it from the side, and you recover very quickly. You get out of the vortex. So the Vuichard maneuver is actually getting out from the side instead of the front. The traditional way to get out of the vortex ring state would be to, okay, let me climb a little bit more, show that to you when we climb. This is a big climb, high climb, it's easy. So here, I'm going here, starting go down. Hopefully I'm not moving that much. I think I'm kind of stopped. Goes down, and you would go up. But you see, it takes longer, and you actually start losing height. So I don't know how long this video has been. I promised an auto rotation. Let's do the auto rotation. I'd call it a day for this video. But it's a great helicopter, and I hope that by doing those unusual maneuvers, you can appreciate how this helicopter is actually fun to fly. So I'm gonna do another video with startup and switch off that thing. So in order to do that, I'm gonna just cut the fuel valve, and I just want, okay, I'm above the airport, and let me just go a little forward, because once you go do that, uh, okay, about 50 knots here, and I'm gonna look at, if you look at my mouse here, this is my rotor RPM, and this is what I want to check, be around the green. Now I'm gonna cut my fuel here, 1, 2, 3, okay, collective down, and I'm falling, okay, I'm falling. I see that my rotor RPM is still on the green. What I want to do is stay around 50 knots while going back. Yeah, you can still also do turns. Obviously, you'll bleed some uh, airflow, but you can still do. And you see I'm still in the bottom of the green of the rotor. Let me see if I can go back to the airport like that. I don't know where the airport is. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe not. Definitely not. Oh, yes. Maybe yes. Let's see if I have enough power. Okay, I'm kind of lucky here. My rotor RPM is going dangerously down. But now I can, since I'm close to the ground, I'm gonna pitch up, and okay, I did the auto rotation. So that's it for today. Thank you guys, and hope to see you soon. I'm gonna do a few more videos on this helicopter.